Hello friends, my name is RagePanda1 and I want to go through an in-depth guide on the Guardian Stone so that you understand how you can get your medals, where you should spend your medals, and who you should spend your medals on. And as part of that, I want you to understand where these things are actually benefiting you. So we're going to go into our detail screen, and the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to click on our little eye icon down there, and we are going to look at all of our stats. Now, I'm surprised that they don't have a leadership skill in the Guardian Stone, and I think that's an oversight nobody's really talking about. I think that would have been really cool, man. But they're focusing mostly on combat stuff, so we're going to pay attention to that. Now, what they don't have is letting us click on these to see how these numbers translate into actual effect. I think specifically for dodge and hit, that would have been nice. So this is how you can see where these stats are actually being affected. You come into your detail screen, you click on the eye, these are the stats that are being affected. And if you want to see what percentages you're getting on that person, we'll take a look at our lovely little hot mama here, and we click on her Legacy of Power. And that's going to show us all of the percentages that we are getting from our Guardian Stone. You're going to see that I'm getting a lot of stuff. That is a lot of stuff. And it didn't cost me all that much. When we come into our Guardian Stone and we're looking at the things that we want to level, I think that the best course of action is to get 1 point in each node. Not everybody agrees with me on that, but mathematically speaking, you're getting a higher benefit for your points if you do it that way. It's that simple, because all of these extra things like your fortitude and dodge rating and hit rating and everything, they have an effect on your character, and they're going to be more of an effect than if I were to, say, level one thing up to level 3, as opposed to leveling 6 things up to level 1. That's the way that I choose to go with it, and that's the way that I would recommend that other people do it. When you're done with that, you want to target your damage dealers, and you want to level up their strength. That's the first thing that you want to do when you're done with your level 1. Most people are going to be running several burst mages, at least 2 mages on their team, so you're going to want to do your mage strength first. If you're using another DPS like assassins, or maybe you've got a marksman on your team, then you're going to maybe level their strength up as well, but you need to decide if it's worth it for you to do that, or if you want to get your frontliners being a little more tanky. In order to make your frontliners tanky, we're going to level up our Constitution, which is our top level trait here. The reason that we're going for that is because we're stacking Constitution with Vigor, we're stacking Strength with Vigor, we're stacking Strength and Constitution with our Energetic and our Brutal traits. So you're doubling down when you get these upper 2 traits, and you want to fill these out first. So Strength for damage dealers, and then Constitution for tanks, and then Constitution for damage dealers, and then Strength for tanks. You're going to fill out all of these upper rows before you care about filling anything else out. I do think a lot of these other traits can be useful and they can be good, but none of them are going to be as useful as filling out these top 2 traits. In fact, I would say of the bottom 4, it's going to depend how you're building your characters, although I think that Fortitude is likely to come out on top on that. That remains to be seen, but that's my current prediction. Okay, now you know where to spend your points, but how are you going to get points in the first place? A lot of people have asked me how I already had so many points. And it's my guess that a lot of my points have come from being really high on intimacy and from having my charm paths really high up. You can click on these little arrows in your acquire medals section and it'll tell you the next thing you need to do. And you can see that for a lot of mine, I need to get 1,000 or 1,500 for my charm to get the next level of it. And that's because of the way that I handle my charm. I always go up to the next cheapest node, but you can see most of my characters are 1 node away from the top already, so I have gotten the medals for most of those. And I think that if you continue to level up the cheapest one to get to the next node that's going to give you a bonus, that's going to give you the best bonuses for your districts, and it's going to give you the most medals to use in your Guardian Stone. When we're looking at the intimacy path, this has the same reward structure, but a completely different recommendation from me. I don't think that you should level up the cheapest thing to get to the next intimacy. I think that if you try to do that just to get the medals, you're not going to get the benefit that you would have otherwise gotten. So the way that I think that you want to level up your intimacy is number 1, get your Travain companion or another 1-star up to Mythic. You don't have to go all the way to the level 22 traits, you just need to hit Mythic. After you have your Travain Mythic, there are 3 other goals that you have with your intimacy. Number 1 is to make sure that you have a Mythic team that you want to use. Usually that means getting a Lionstone Companion and taking it to Mythic. Or maybe you'll pick one of the mages like the Ignis or the Fulgur to take to Mythic because you can double down and use all of those champions and save yourself some in terms of spending Intimacy just to get Mythic champions. Next, your goal with Intimacy is going to be to unlock clan traits that you actually want to put on people. One of them that I've been talking about a lot that's actually quite good is the Tidestorm Companion. Putting aggressive on a lot of people is good, so maybe even if I don't need the Mythic champion, I will take her to Mythic so that I can produce that trait to put on other people. I don't want to be spending my Intimacy just getting this Sally Horn up another level just to get a few medals. I want to stay on track and keep these more important goals in mind. So after I've gotten my team all Mythic, after I've gotten the clan traits that I want to use Mythic, then I'm going to worry about level 22 traits. And the reason is because level 22 traits are really good, but they're really expensive. And they're so expensive that they're not worth the investment, at least in my opinion. Unless you're absolutely sure that you're going to make one team with this one set of traits and you're never going to need anything else, go ahead and get your level 22 traits. It's your account. You don't have to play the way that I play. I want to have my options available, and it's not worth it to me to get these level 22 traits and have to spend 15,000 actual Intimacy to get that option open. I would rather get more Mythic champions and traits open. The moral of that story is that we are not going to take shortcuts in our Intimacy path just so that we can get medals. It's not worth it. Now the wording on this rare path, it's the champion rarity path, and you can see it says become the #1 Mythic Devala clan female champion, and so on and so forth with epic and rare. All this means is that you need to unlock one of these champions at this rarity and you will get the medals that it says. The only tip that changes anything for you in this game is that if you're playing the Intimacy game where you're storing up a whole bunch of your diamonds and you're buying Intimacy packs and you're just stacking it up and you're taking a companion from common to Mythic in one sitting, well, when you hit each rarity, you want to use a bouquet and you want to raise that heir so that you are guaranteed to have gotten both the male and female versions of your champions so that you get the medals. It doesn't cost you that much. They still work as Ascension materials. You're really not losing anything and you're gaining medals by doing it that way. So that's just one thing that you don't want to miss out on. The worst thing that happens if you miss it is you just got to get lucky with the summon later. It's not that big of a deal, but it's a small optimization that you can make. For the star path, this is about the same as the rarity. It's just as you get champions of these star levels, you're going to unlock these medals. And you almost never want to be basing your Ascension on getting these medals. They're not really worth it enough for that, for you to diverge off of your normal path. However, there's a lot of times when you're just picking something to level up as fodder, and you may as well go with them to go ahead and get these done. Now maybe in time you'll have just about all of them done and you'll be chasing your last couple, and sure, you're going to diverge and finish what you need to finish, and that's fine. But when you're fighting for resources and just, man, I'm fighting for my fucking life out here, then you don't want to waste your Ascension materials just trying to get some medals. It's not worth all of that. Now, one main issue with this sort of thing is I don't think there's enough medals in the game for you to get everything unlocked that you want to get unlocked. So if ever there was a reason to argue against me about putting 1 point into everything, it would be that you want to get all of your top 2 rows done, and maybe you can't complete that with all of the given medals in the game. That's possible. And if you're worried about it, you should just do the math and see what you are willing to spend. If you're not worried about it, like I'm not worried about it, then I think this is safe enough. So here we can see a breakdown of the medals that you actually need to level each thing up. You need 500 total bronze to get up to level 3, and then you're going to need 1,500 of your rare medals to get up to level 6, and then we need 3,400 of the mythic medals to get to level 10. I think that the huge factor that we need to worry about is actually getting to level 3 for the ones that we want to be leveling up past that, which is why my next thing is going to be going into the constitution of my tanks. If I hadn't gotten a little ripped off on a point here that glitched and just went into the wrong thing, then I would already be pretty close to that, but it is what it is. Another thing that you may care to notice is that if I'm looking at my mage strength bonus, it's going to go up to 28%. If I'm looking at my assassin strength bonus, it's only going up to 23%. And if I look at it for my tanks, it's going to 13%. So there's quite a wide range of what you're actually getting for these. And clearly, you can look at my level 1 traits at the top to see roughly where those lie. You're going to get considerably more constitution on your tank characters, which reinforces to me that Resilient would be really good on them, although I can't get that companion. And you know what? Maybe I'm a little hurt about that. Maybe my feelings are damaged because I wasn't able to get the companion. So it's just another thing to keep in mind when I'm leveling my top 2 rows. My strength for my tank companions is going to be the absolute last thing that I'm going with. So why not? We'll run through a little adventure in me saying I want to level something up, okay? I have 140 of my bronze. I know I need 150 to get to rank 2. And if I look on my list here, if I get a Karg up to 5-star, then I will be able to get 13 of my bronze gems. So let's go ahead and make that a goal. So I have a Karg that I've been using. I'm going to put a purple one in there to raise his rarity. And then I'm just putting in some extra fodder to go ahead and level him up. We done it. We got a male Karg, and he got them 5 stars right there, and you can see at the top it says bronze medal plus 13. We knew that was going to happen because we gave ourselves information. And now we can use the benefits of gaining information, and we can go ahead and go to rank 2 for our constitution on our tanks. So as you can see, it's not that hard to get this stuff, but you just want to be aware of what you're chasing, and if you should probably spend all those extra resources on it. I would say taking things to 4 and 5-star is pretty safe, but it gets pretty expensive when you're getting past that, and I would be conservative about doing that personally. So I want to give a quick shout out to Easy Street, who is a very high rated player on my server, for suggesting that I go a little more into depth on Guardian Stone and maybe give people some tips on what they need to do and how they can even acquire these medals in the first place. Thank you very much, Easy Street, and thanks to the rest of my server who have been absolutely awesome and supportive to me. You guys are incredible. If you want to be part of a group of people that's that incredible, number one, I would invite you to subscribe to the channel, but also, I have a little extra room on my guild, but I want to have active viewers playing so that we can all be friends and hang out and do cool stuff. You know, we got the Guild Wars coming where we're gonna go boxing some people, and hey, you coming over here? You talking to my guy all wrong. Boom, bam, now I got all your towers. What are you gonna do? Doesn't that sound like fun? Sounds like fun to me. I want to thank you for watching this video. I have been RagePanda1, and I will see you in the next one.